are 3 books that I started in 2025 and I didn't actually end up finishing in 2025. So I want to finish them now that it's 2026 because we do not DNF over here. We start, but we always finish. And I started these books when I was on vacation for 2 of them. And then I came home and wanted to read Christmas books. So I just never like got back to them. So I want to finish them out, and they're a little bit thicker, but I'm actually loving them. First book is After, which is like a billionaire romance that I'm really, really loving. And it only has like less than 200 reviews on Goodreads. And so I definitely want to get into this one a little bit more. I started this one when I was on vacation, and then literally I got home and it was like the week before Christmas and wanted to read Christmas books. And then the other book that I started was Time Starts With You. Again, started this one on vacation, came home, just like wasn't in the mood to read this one. I think I got like 25 pages into this one. Again, another billionaire romance, and I don't know why I've been picking up billionaire romances. I'm literally not doing it on purpose. And then the last book is In the Gray, which so many people have said that this is like their spiciest, wildest read that they've ever read. All these are written by Black authors, and this one in particular is one that I literally opened and immediately closed because I realized I was not in the mood for something super spicy. So I want to finish those before I like get into anything else, but I do have 2 books upstairs that I left on a little poll on Instagram to see which one you guys think that I should read first. But I want to finish these 3. But before we do that, I need to go into the other room and put some books away. Now that I've put all the books that I needed to put on the shelf downstairs, like those are all books that I finished, I have a bunch of books that I need to put up here on this shelf, and these are books that are unfinished. Now, I read 180 books last year. The year before that I read 175 books, and the year before that I read 170 books. So I do read a lot, obviously. I think the year before that I read 100 books because that was when I like first got back into reading. So I'm a big reader, and I'm always going to be the type that will, one, always encourage a book haul, because I think that books are just like incredible resources that we can physically have for like the rest of our lives. Like when I'm 80 years old, all these books on my shelf or downstairs, I can still have in physical form. It's kind of like pictures in a way, but also books I almost look at as if they're like a bottle of wine that I'm like waiting to take off the shelf and waiting to explore, dive into, enjoy, savor. And I feel like a lot of the time there's so much shame in the book community for having a lot of books that you haven't read. And I was actually telling my mom, it was like a little while ago, but I was telling her how I was like, I sometimes feel bad, like if I have so many books, I haven't read them yet. And she's like, literally why? Like, she didn't understand the concept. Now my mom was like in her mid 60s, and she just didn't understand the concept because she just was like, it is so cool that like we have the privilege to have books and the privilege to read. And like specifically as women, honestly, like just years ago we wouldn't have even been able to read it all. And as a Black woman, I wouldn't be able to read it all. Like that alone is huge, and I need to keep that in perspective. So anyway, I have a bunch of books that I didn't end up getting to. These are all Christmas related books, but I want to read them. And I was saying in one of my last videos that I feel like I will get books and I'll tell myself, oh, I'll like read them during the season, and then I like never get to it, and I'm like, oh, I need to wait until next season to read them. But I'm not gonna do it this year. I'm gonna just read when I want to read when I want to read it. And this book, Fumbled Love, is a novella by Marina Hill. I really want to read this very soon, even though it's like a fall book. I haven't read anything by Marina Hill. I have a book of hers on my shelf that I want to get to, but sometimes I get nervous to pick up books by authors I've never read from before because I feel like I'm not gonna like the book, and I just like don't know the writing style. So sometimes diving into a smaller like book is easier for me because I can figure out if I like the style of writing or not. And then the rest of these are all Christmas books that I never got to. The Naughty List by Octavia Grant, really want to read that. And I feel like this month I'm gonna probably add in a few Christmas books here and there. I really want to read The Slight Before Christmas because I read the first book in this series and loved it. And this book is actually about a couple that's married and they're like going through hardships and it's around Christmas time, which is like hectic. I want to read Christmas Forever. I don't know if I'll read that this year. And then I also want to read Meet Me in December. I think that both of these are no spice Christmas romances. I also don't think that I'm going to get to No One Like You, another Christmas read, but I do want to read Christmas with Kris Kringle by Kasha Thompson. This is one of my favorite authors because her books are just like funny, really easy to read. I think I've read like 4 of her books and I've never read any of her Christmas books. So I really want to get to this one. And it kind of is like, just like holiday-esque, but it's also like wintry. And I feel like because it is like still cold in January, it still kind of fits the vibe. Like you can just see that they have like, you know, their little wintry outfits on, like their gloves and things. And then I also want to read Resort to Romance by Casey Sophia because this is set at a like ski lodge, but I don't know if it's necessarily around Christmas. I think it's just during like the wintry months. So these are the 4 books that I want to read. And then the rest of these need to go on the shelf. So these are the ones that I want to read. And oh, that's 5. Gosh, I definitely have been thinking about what I want to make my reading goal for 2026. I haven't set it yet on Goodreads. Speaking of Goodreads, I do want to get Storygraph this year. I actually was really late in the game to getting a Goodreads account. I think I got mine in it was like 2 years after I had already gotten back into reading, I think. Or maybe it was, yeah, I think it was 2 years. I think the first year I got back into reading, I read like 50 books. And then the second year I read 100 books. And then my niece was like, oh my God, you need to get Goodreads. It's this like app where you can like rate your books. And I was like, I do not want more work when it comes to books. I don't want it to feel like homework. And I literally told her that. And she's like, no, it's like so fun. And I've loved it, but I do think that there are probably better apps that I could use. And so many people have talked about Storygraph, it's Black owned, and that you can also do like half ratings, which I really like. But also other people have talked about other apps too that they really enjoyed. So anyway, I'm thinking about adding on to Storygraph, but again, it's like just one more thing I need to do. So we'll see if I get to that this year. But I have been thinking about what I want to make my reading goal for the year, and part of me wants to up it by 5 because that's what I did last year. I did 170 books and 175 books, and then this year I did 180 books. So part of me is like, oh, maybe I should make my reading goal 185. But then the other part of me is like, do I want to make the reading goal higher, or do I just want to prioritize longer, thicker books? Because if I get into more fantasy this year, if I get into more like long, deep, heartfelt contemporary fiction or romances, they're going to take a little bit longer to get through, versus I think on Goodreads it said my average like length of a book was like 350 pages or somewhere around there for the books that I read, which is like a typical romance, so it makes sense. But I feel like this year I really want to read like thicker and longer romances, and as you guys could see by the books that I like didn't finish last year that rolled over into this year, they were super thick and super long. So I don't know, I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Let me know what you guys' reading goals are for the year. I would love to hear you guys' perspective just because I'm still trying to decide. I think I'm going to read what I want to read regardless, but I'm also the type where if I set a goal, I have to meet it. So I don't want that to hinder me from like reading what I want to read, but I also feel like if I don't make a goal that's high enough, I could easily be like, like maybe this week I'll just scroll my phone. Like I think having a reading goal pushes me to read instead of doing other forms of media, which is what I enjoy most. Like if you're someone who likes movies, then it's like watch movies, right? But like I love reading, but sometimes other forms of media like my phone or just like random TV shows that I don't even care about can like hinder the hobbies that I actually want to do. So I don't know, I'm trying to decide what I want to do, but I do need to make space on the shelf eventually, but the only way to make space is to do an unhaul. So I'll probably do an unhaul really soon just to get enough space on that shelf for these books to be added. I have this rule for myself where it's like if the books can't fit on this shelf, like I, need to unhaul them because I don't want to have more than this shelf can hold. And I'm pretty sure my like books that I have unread are like 350 or 320 or something like that, but they're all on the shelf. And so I don't need more than that because like realistically, if I'm reading 180 to 200 books in a year, I can't even get through that amount in a year. But again, it's like there's so many books by small authors that I'll see on like TikTok or Instagram, and I know I'll never see again because they have like 2 reviews. So I'll like buy them immediately and then just kind of like place them there to read eventually. And I love like putting you guys on too. And it's nice when I've already purchased it because I don't have to find it and be like, wait, what was that book again? Like, I don't remember. And then it's like gone, you know? So I don't know. Let me know what you guys' Goodreads goals are. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on what you're reading and what you're prioritizing in 2026. It's always really cool to go into a new year and just like think, what do I want this year to look like for me? And I feel like that helps me to guide me in the right direction as to like what my reading goal should be, or like the books that I want to pick up, or like what I should unhaul, what I should keep, and that kind of thing. I started this book to kind of offset like all of the romance books that I knew I was going to be reading, and I just wanted to have like something else to kind of keep me invested. I did not know that this book was gonna end like on the first chapter the way that it did. I audibly gasped and was like, what? Like literally. I think I'm gonna tandem read this, and I'm gonna listen to the audiobook some and then also like read the physical book because I am gonna be bopping around town today, and this is one of those books that I feel like I'm gonna not want to put down. I'm taking my own advice because in the last like sit down video that I did, I was talking about how so often I will put off some books that I feel like are going to be highly rated for me because I almost feel like the anticipation is gonna make the book be like not as good as it could be if I didn't anticipate it as much. But sometimes like the anticipation is there for a reason, because I read August Lane by Regina Black, and that was a book that I put off for probably like 3 months last year. And I put it off because I was like, I think it's gonna be a 5-star read, but maybe my expectations are too high, and then if like they're super high, then maybe I won't actually like the book, and yada yada yada. Ended up reading it, 5-star read. Like I literally could have read it 3 months prior and had the exact same like response and experience. So I'm reading books that I feel like are going to be highly rated for me just because I know that it's going to be, you know, potentially a read that I'm obsessed with. Also, whenever I open this book, I saw this bookmark, and I love when I do this. I love when I put bookmarks from the bookstore that I bought the book in inside the book. This is from Daunt Books. I don't know if you guys can see that. I bought it a while ago, and I guess I just like left the bookmark in there. So I forgot that that's where I got it from, but really enjoying this book so far. Again, I'm only a chapter in, but it's making me realize that I need to stop putting off books. Also, obviously this video is about me waking up in the morning. As you guys can see, it's very early in the morning. My nose is like a bit runny. I feel like every morning I wake up and my allergies are like terrible, but I woke up this morning and was excited to read. And every morning that I wake up, I feel like I'm usually pretty excited to read because it's just like my favorite start to the day. It always puts me in a good mood, and it's like the most relaxing way to start the day, but it is definitely hard. Oh my gosh, the yawn please are gonna get me. People always hate when I yawn on videos, but like I am literally not a robot. I'm sorry, it's 5 a.m. I'm going to yawn in this video. But waking up at 5 a.m. to read was a habit I think I started like 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure. I started actually because I did a video like this, and it was just like a trial thing. Like, oh, I'm gonna wake up at 5 a.m. to read, like see how much I can read. And then I was actually like, I kind of like this. Like I'm reading a lot. I'm starting the day in a good way. I'm very relaxed, and I don't know, I've just like stuck with it. So now we're in 2026 doing something that I'm pretty sure I started in I don't know exactly when I started it, but it's been a few years and I love it. If you're someone who wants to wake up at 5 a.m. to read, I think the biggest tip is to set your alarm at the normal time that you like would normally set it, but just like push it back by 15 minutes. That's it. 15 minutes only. Do not go from waking up at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever time you wake up and then be like, I'm going to be a 5 a.m. girly, and then just like set your alarm to 5. That's not going to work. So if you normally wake up at 6, or if you normally wake up at 6:30 or 7, set your alarm 15 minutes behind that, and it'll be a lot easier to wake up because it's only a 15-minute shift. And just get your body used to waking up. Like, I don't think that any habit you add into your life is going to be like a quick fix, like a
really easy shift because it's a habit. Again, it's like you have to build the habit. And for me, I feel like I had to get used to waking up first. So I would like wake up. I always drink like a protein shake in the morning. So like I kind of get up out of bed and go get it. Usually when I wake up, I might like edit something on my phone, like TikTok related, or like, I don't know, just kind of like wake up. Like I'll just like, you know, open my eyes. Like it takes me a second to wake up. I don't like immediately wake up and then grab my book and start reading like 2 minutes in. And then, you know, after I kind of feel like I've woken up a bit, then that's when I grab my book. Because if you grab your book before you feel like you're fully awake, like you're just going to fall asleep reading. I also always sit up. Like usually I do not like lay down like this, like I am right now. I will sit straight up. And that helps me to actually like not fall asleep whenever I'm reading my book. But then usually I get so invested in it that it's like really enjoyable. Another thing I don't usually do whenever I'm reading in the morning is read a book that is new to me. And so this is like a rare occurrence because I really just started this because I know I'm going to want to tandem read something, and I'm not currently listening to anything that's on audio, and all the other books that I have I'm just going to like physically read. And so I was like, okay, I need to start a book that I can listen to as I'm like driving around town today. And so I started this, but I'll probably end up picking up the other book that I was reading yesterday, and like read that a little bit more after I like get into this. But I don't know, there's just something really cool about waking up in the morning. So if you're someone who wants to wake up in the morning, the first tip I can definitely give is to set your alarm just back by 15 minutes. It's going to help you wake up without really disrupting your life too much where you feel like, oh my God, this is miserable. I never want to do this again. And then over time, once you get comfortable with that 15 minutes, add 15 more minutes, and so on. I decided that I'm gonna come into Barnes because I had $47 in my little like wallet, and to me this is free money. Like if I have cash, it's basically free money. I got it for like Christmas, and this is like the leftover from what I got, and yeah, I feel like I'm gonna be able to get like 2 books with this, but that's fine because again, it's free money. Like if you're a book lover, you get it. Like you understand that using cash is not like real money. It's also like the same for me if I like find a gift card or something that's been like sitting around for a while. That's not real money. But I do think that there's already one book that I want to bring home, and it looks really, really good. So this is the one book I definitely want to bring home. I'll talk about it a little bit more when I get home, but I feel like I told you guys in one of the last videos that I want to read more books that I haven't seen a lot of people talking about, and this is definitely one I haven't seen anyone talking about, and honestly the reviews aren't that great. I did look at you guys' Goodreads reviews though, and they were pretty high, and I feel like we have a similar taste in books. And I don't want to keep looking at Goodreads reviews for like every book that I bring home. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to see like 3.3 or 3.6 and be like, oh, gotta leave it. Like everyone hates it. So I think this is like a good middle ground of like looking at you guys' reviews and then just like bypassing everything else, because if you guys have rated it highly, then I feel like I probably will too. Because again, it's like someone maybe picked this up and maybe they wanted something that's like cutesier or whatever, you know what I mean? Like maybe you don't like a heartfelt and deep romance, and I feel like this is gonna be that. But it's a debut and it just looks really good, so I'll talk about this a little bit more when I get home. I love when I find a little corner where I can just like read, and I do wish
wish they had the chairs, but I honestly kind of like having a reason to sit on the floor. I just feel like it's more relaxing than sitting in a chair, and it just feels like more like at home. Like I feel like I could sit here and read a lot longer than if I was sitting in like an upright chair. But I just got to the part in this book where basically she had been talking about how she's reading The Kiss Quotient and she loves reading romances and stuff, and he tells his driver to stop at Barnes & Noble because he wants to pick up The Kiss Quotient. He starts reading it and he texts her and he's like, hey, like, I want you to come over so we can like talk about the book. And she was like, yeah, of course. So she goes over kind of expecting like to talk about the book, but also to like maybe be pressured into doing stuff or whatever. And he's literally like, I would never do that to you. Like, you are so much more than just like that. And there's actually a part that I wanted to read to you guys in this book. I'm gonna try to see, it's on page 132. He's like, you're mesmerizing, you make the room quieter. I like the way you think before you speak. I like the way you speak when you finally do. You make me want to learn softness. This book reminds me a lot of like Brittany Cherry's books where the guys are like sickeningly sweet and perfect, but like they both have things that they're going through. I love books like that because I feel like sometimes in romances, authors will make these guys like toxic and it's like, yeah, you should fall in love with them. And it's like, no, we could do that in real life. Like we could find a guy just like that in real life. But when you read about the guys in books that are seemingly perfect, I feel like it makes your like standards higher or stay higher. And I love that. So I'm gonna try to finish this book tonight. We'll see. It's a goal of mine to try to finish all 3 of the books that I was sharing with you guys this week. And hopefully one tonight and then maybe one tomorrow and then one the day after that. I actually might cry. I love this bookstore because I'm reading this part where he does something so sweet for her and the music that's playing is like 90s rom-com music and I'm just like, I'm unwell. I'm actually unwell. Like when I read billionaire romances, I want them to be spoiled and not just with like a private jet or like flying to the Caribbean or whatever. Cause like, again, that is sweet. But like when I see intentional gifts like this, it does something. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I love when my books are like beat up like this. Barnes getting hard up for cash or what? Because every time I've been there around the holiday season, they don't have their real bags. They just have these. I want to show you guys what I ended up getting because I went to Barnes yesterday, got home, didn't do anything, and I forgot to show you guys the books. But then tomorrow, I'm actually gonna hang out with my sister and I'm gonna give her the book that I ended up picking up because I got one for myself and one for her. So yeah, I'm gonna show you guys what I ended up getting. The first book that I got is this one. Reminders of Him. My sister really enjoyed Verity and I've been trying to get her back into reading and she really loved it but hasn't really found anything that's like caught her attention. So I'm gonna give this to her. Hopefully she'll get hooked on it and I really wanna get her back into reading. And I feel like if she's already like one book from an author, it's like really an easy way to segue back into reading if you give something from the same author. But Verity is different than Reminders of Him. So she's more like a thriller girly, but like she's kind of similar to me where she doesn't like anything too scary. So I'm gonna give her this because it's not like a thriller by any means. It's definitely a romance, but it's kind of thrilling. And the movie comes out in March, which is literally like what, 2 months from now. So I wanted to get this for her. This is probably one of my favorite books that I read by Colleen Hoover. And I read it, I mean, literally years ago. So I ended up getting this. I think it'll be good for her to read it before the movie comes out, and then maybe we could go like see it together or something. And then I also ended up getting this book, which I told you guys about. It's called What It's Like in Words by Eliza Moss. On the back it says, I don't think I read the back to you guys. It says that the girl, she's 30 years old and she's estranged from her family, but she like romanticizes being a child again. She wants to be a writer, but literally can't even like make a first draft. And she is like with this guy that she's like so in love with, but he's distant, moody, and spends more time with his ex than with her. And so she sees all these red flags, but like she's just like, whatever, like I want love. And I don't know, it just kind of seems like a coming of age story. It's a debut book, doesn't have a ton of reviews, but the reviews that are on there, they're honestly not the best, but the reviews that you guys left were really good. So I'm excited to read it. And again, I feel like I've shared that this year I want to read more books that I haven't seen a lot of people talking about or reading. And this just looked like a good one to add. I initially wanted to start, after I finished the book that I had yesterday, I wanted to start the other book that I had started and not finished, but I think I'm gonna start something else. I did end up finishing this book and I'm really glad that I did. It's kind of beat up, but honestly, I like, as I said, I like when my books look like this. Really enjoyed it, and I already ordered the second book in the series, so I'm excited to read that really soon. I'm not going to read the other book that I had planned, which was this one. I wanted to pick this one up because I'd already started it, but I just cannot read another billionaire romance back to back. And the other book that I was planning on reading is more of like a spicy read, and I'm not really in the mood for something like wildly spicy. So I already have an idea of what I'm gonna pick up next. So I'm gonna try to get into it, and then I'll share that with you guys tomorrow. Guys, I have been walking around the library and just like shook because I've been seeing all these signs everywhere that are basically saying like notice, or like new releases are gonna take longer to get here, and just like basically saying that like the books that I usually come to get are not gonna be available. And it's because the library's book distributor ended up like basically not being the distributor anymore for the library. And I asked the lady who works here, I was like, is it pretty typical for that to happen? And she's like, literally no, like the library like distributor that we've had has been open for like 100 years and they went bankrupt. So she's like, we're gonna have to find another one and it's gonna take a few months. So all the shelves are like so empty, like with the new releases not back here. But she's like, you can always like, you know, check out books and like we'll see if they're at other libraries and have them shipped here. But I don't know, it's just like, it's shaking me because it's a reminder that like reading is a privilege, books are a privilege, third spaces like this are a privilege. Like we come into spaces like this all the time and just take it for granted. We don't utilize them the way that we should. And it's like, why? Like, why do we not do that? Even when I see my books on my shelf at home that I haven't read, I still will try to come to the library to check out books that like are on my TBR, basically to support the library, because it's a way for the library to see that it's being utilized so they can get more grants and stuff. And I don't know, I just don't do that nearly enough. So this is your reminder and also my reminder to get over to your library and utilize it. Because like imagine if we didn't have libraries anymore. Like imagine if we didn't have access to free books, to free audiobooks, to third spaces. It's just such an incredible resource. There's so many like events that they have here. I don't know, so I just, seeing the empty shelves was just like really freaking me out, because I've never seen that in my entire time of like coming to the library. And this is the like Abraham Lincoln like downtown library, so it's like for the capital of Illinois, which is where I live, Springfield. This is the library for like the area, and it's like just so crazy. So I asked her, you know, when
hopefully they have new releases again. She's like probably for a few months or in a few months, but I don't know, it's just like make me want to come in here even more and utilize it even more. So with that, I'm going to check out some books, which is honestly what I came here for anyway. But I also want to sit and read for a little bit. I've been really enjoying the book that I've been reading. I actually brought it with me so I could sit down. It's such a good book. It's a book that I started last night and I'm already 200 pages in, and then I read a little bit at the coffee shop. So now I'm at page 267. Those pages are flying by. Like, I'm literally going to be finishing this book in less than 24 hours. It's called The Last Man on Earth by Shay Sanders, and it's a survival romance, which I've never read before. It's a book about a what's her name? She's a flight attendant, and she's flying this like basically like plane for, or she's not flying it, but she's like servicing the plane for a celebrity, and he's like a celebrity artist, and it ends up crashing. So they have to survive. She cannot stand him. She thinks he's immature, and they end up getting like just stranded. Like, they don't know what to do, so they have to like figure out how to eat and all that stuff. It's really, 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 really good. And I'm also having a hard time deciding if I want to rate it 5 stars or not. I think part of me wants to rate it 5 stars because it's a book I am like reading within 24 hours or less, and that doesn't happen very often. But then the other part of me is like, I don't think it's a 5-star read. I think I'm just enjoying the pacing of it and like how I don't want to put it down. So maybe like 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's an urban romance. It's so good. So I'm gonna sit and read for a bit. After I get my books, I'm gonna get a few books that have been on my radar, and also a few books that are already on my shelf that I want to read, and hopefully take home a nice little library. One of you guys told me you thought I would like this because I love reading books about married couples, and apparently you said this is about a married couple, but then you were like, you put it into a free library, so I don't know if you'll get to it. But the beautiful thing about the library is that I can literally come here and read it. So this might be one that I end up bringing home. Sometimes I know I need to finish a book in a series, I just cannot make myself do it, and this book is that for me. I've read the other 2 books in this series, and this one was like a little too spicy for my liking. Well, not too spicy, I take that back. I think the cover made me think it was gonna be just like a cutesy read, so that's what I was going into it thinking. And I'm very big on like the vibe that I'm expecting is the vibe that I want to get, because if I get a different vibe for a book, sometimes I'm not like in the mood for it. It's not even that I have to be in the mood for spice or a mood for no spice. It's like I need to just be in the mood for a specific type of book. Just like when you're in the mood for a thriller or romance or whatever, I feel like I am even more nitty gritty, where it's like I'll be in the mood for a romance, but I want like a suspenseful romance, or I want a romance with like drama, or I want an unreliable character, or like I just have very specific moods. I'm a very much a mood reader. So I picked this up thinking it was gonna be like cutesy. I mean, look at the cover, like you would kind of expect that, right? Cute, very spicy for what I went in expecting. This is not the spiciest book I've ever read by any means, but I just didn't expect it to be that. So then I ended up reading Tick Hit Danny Brown with that in mind, knowing it would probably be like, you know, fairly spicy but also cutesy. Loved it, ate it up, because I knew going into it that I was in the mood for something like that. So I really love that book, and I don't even know if I loved this one more than this one because the story was better, or just because I was like literally in the mood to read it. So now the last book in the series is this one, and I cannot get myself to bring myself to read this one, even though I've heard so many people say that this is the best one in the series. I just need to pick it up. I don't know, I just need to pick it up. I also will say that now, because I've read more over the years, I kind of know what authors are like gonna be fairly spicy, what authors are gonna be like cutesy. Talia Hibbert, I always know she's gonna have some spice in her books. Also, if you guys are looking for queer reads that are just like spicy but also fun, this book right here, so good. Vaughn and Chris Plan a Wedding by C. Higgins. I really enjoyed this one. I haven't read this one. This is like the newer book that they've written, but I really, really enjoyed this one. It's very, very cute. I also feel like there are so many books in the library that I like literally want to bring home, but I just don't think I'll actually read it. Like, I really want to read a book from Elin Hilderbrand. Never read anything of hers, and they have so many of her books here, like literally a massive like little spot just for her books. These are all her books, but I just don't think I'm gonna actually get to it. I think if I bring it home, I will not end up reading them, just because I don't know if her books are my vibe. came over to put books into the free library. You guys can see there's a massive stack. And guys, I have to show you guys the front of the free library because the last time I was here, the glass was completely broken. And now, I don't know if you guys can see, it's not broken anymore. Somebody fixed it and there's like a really pretty painting, which makes me so happy. In here, there's mostly kids books, so I'm going to fill it up. Walking back to my car to get some more books out of my trunk. I have a bunch of books in my trunk just because I like to fill up the free library, but I feel like a lot of the time whenever I go to fill it up, I am just like, oh my god, I don't have my books on me. So I've just been like trying to keep them on me, and this actually helps so much because whenever I need to fill it up, I can't. Got another big stack. I think this will be enough to fill it up. It's all full now. Oh my god, they did a little chalkboard. I didn't even realize that, but it's all full now. So you guys can see there's a bunch of books, obviously, and then I also put more behind there. So you can see that I added some adult books back there. A lot of these are doubles. Like I own The Huntsman already, and then it was also sent to me by publisher, I'm pretty sure. I bought this book, and then Robbie Renee also sent this to me. So a lot of these are like doubles. So I already own them. Some of them I've already read, some of them I have not. And like I have this book right here, which you guys know I absolutely love. Let me see if I can grab it. This book right here, absolutely loved it. I bought it, and then the author, she sent me a signed copy, so obviously I'm going to keep that one. So yeah, there's just a lot of doubles in here, but also there are some that I haven't read that I want to pass on to someone else that I think will enjoy them a little bit more. I do want to leave some space in here because it'll be easier for people to like pull out the books, but also I usually leave like one book kind of sitting out so you can like be enticed, but since the glass isn't open, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stuff it. So yeah, I'm glad that it's nice and full. Waking up at 5 a.m. is like not really that hard, but it is difficult to like wake up and talk to you guys because like genuinely I'm just like I'm so tired. But I will say that I started this a few years ago and I couldn't imagine ever like going back to like not waking up at 5 a.m. I started The End of Loneliness, and I've heard that this is a really good book, and I feel like after reading Finding Grace, I wanted to read something else that was like contemporary fiction vibe. I've just been on a roll, and I don't think it's like the new year. I think it's genuinely, I just know what I want to read, and I want to stick to that more than ever this year. I actually made a video on how to become a reader, and in that video, I was just sharing like the things that I feel like will really make you be obsessed with reading. And one of those is like, you know, making space to read and like finding the time and like scheduling it out and stuff. But there's another thing that I wish I had talked a little bit more about, and that's like reading what you want to read. And maybe if you're not a reader, it's like hard to figure out what you actually want to read. So maybe that wouldn't have been like the best tip, because again, it's like if you don't know what you want to read or your taste, then like you're probably just gonna look at book recs and stuff from other people. But I don't know, I just get so excited whenever I pick up a book that I'm like, yep, I know I'm gonna like this one. I know it's gonna be one that I like talk about a lot. And that's how I felt with the last few books that I've read. This one is good so far. I'm not like super far into it, so I definitely need to give it more time to like figure out if I'm really enjoying it or not. I will say I think I'm in the mood for just like a read that's gonna pull at my heartstrings or just like be really like messy and wild. And that's why I'm gonna read this one, but I also want to pick up the book Adana. I have heard that this is one of the saddest books that people have ever read, and I haven't even opened it up yet, and I just like went and looked at you guys' reviews, and so many people were like, oh my god, this book was literally traumatic. Like, and I think coming off of a book like The Last Man on Earth, I need something that's gonna kind of shake me up. And then I feel like after this I'll probably want to read like a cutesy read, so I will pick up just like a cutesy romance. What is going on here? But yeah, I am really excited to get into this one. It is a thick one. It's like almost 700 pages. But one thing I really want to do this year is not be afraid to read thick books. Some of you guys were giving tips just like to how to do that, and you're saying to read books on Kindle or just like read books with big text. So that's what I'm going to try to do to hopefully keep me invested.
I also want to like continue to tandem read books if that like, you know, if the book is like taking a minute to get into. I feel like tandem reading and just like listening to the audiobook and, you know, doing that while I am doing my dishes or laundry or whatever, and then like getting back into the physical book is going to be something that's going to help me like stay invested, because sometimes it just like takes a long time for me to actually get into the book. And it's not that I don't like it or don't want to like read it, it's just that I don't care about these characters. Like when you're in the first 3 chapters, it's like, who are these people? Like, I don't care about you. And then you get into it more and you're like, oh my God, like I'm obsessed. Like I don't want to put it down. Just like when I was reading The Last Man on Earth, I literally finished it in 24 hours. It was just like so good. So yeah, definitely gonna get into this one while I read The End of Loneliness. I'm always gonna be someone who reads multiple books at a time. Speaking of books, it makes me think of bestie Alex. I talked to her on the phone the other day for like an hour and a half, and I like miss hanging out with her and miss like going to bookstores and stuff together. And I don't know, I think it's really fun to have friends who talk about books, and when you don't have that person that you always talk about books with, it just kind of makes it hard to like, I don't know, it doesn't make it hard to be excited about books, but it's just like, who do you talk about it with? And obviously I talk about it with you guys, but like I don't get to see you guys in person. And I don't really have anybody else in my life who reads books a lot or who reads books by Black authors. And that's one thing that I feel like we've really connected on. And I've obviously known her since I was like literally 12. And she's someone that like got into reading in the last few years, and it's made it really fun whenever we get together, because all we do is talk about books. Like we'll bookshop, we talk about books, we act like the characters are real people, we talk about the different Black authors and like what's going on in their lives and like what they're writing next, and it just makes reading more fun. And I don't know, maybe that's why people get into book clubs, because you get that experience just like in real time. But I will say, living in a town where there aren't as many like Black people or people supporting Black art, it makes it difficult to find those spaces. Like I was actually watching this video on TikTok where it was like an HBCU, and they had like I don't know, I forget, they had like, what are they called? Like oh my God, they're like the dancers. It's literally on the tip of my tongue. You guys know what I'm talking about. But I was just thinking, I was like, oh, that would be like so cool to have like my future kids in. And it's like, oh yeah, like literally you would never be able to get that experience unless you left and went to college, because there's nothing like that in high school here in this town. And I think that's similar to like reading. You know, whenever I look at book clubs and the books that they're picking up like the Emily Henrys and Abby Jimenez, and like I love those authors, I love those books, and it's not that there's anything wrong with those books. It's just like, can we, for one, pick up a book that shares like other types of stories, and specifically Black-centered stories? And also, like, can we not just pick up like historical fiction? Because I feel like whenever people, like book clubs or whatever, will pick up a book by a Black author, it's usually something that's like, you know, it's like sad or like deep or whatever. And it's like, that's not like a bad thing. It's just like, I want the cutesy reads, I want the fluffy reads, I want the fun reads, I want to talk about those with my friends. So it makes it really fun whenever we get together, because I can like talk to her about those things that I feel like I can't really talk to anyone else about, other than like, you know, Brady, which of course he's gonna like listen, but like he's not really reading romance. But it is funny though, like I'll lay in bed and I'll just like talk about the characters like they're my favorite, and he'll be like, oh, is it gonna be a 4.5 or oh, is it gonna be a 5-star? Like he's like always interested to see like what I'm gonna rate the book. But again, it's like whenever I am hanging out with her, I feel like I'll talk about a character, she'll be like, oh my God, that reminds me of this character in this book that I read. And I'll be like, oh yeah, like, you know, totally, and I can't believe this author did this, and like, what do you think they're gonna do in their next book? And like, you know, did you like this one? I didn't really like that one, but I did like this one. And it just, I don't know, the conversation flows. It's like those TikToks that you see that they're like, you know, when you get into flow state, that's how I feel whenever I get together with someone who loves books, especially books by Black authors. And whenever I get together with people that I've like been friends with for a really long time and can feel just like 110% comfortable to be myself. I was actually telling Brady, I was like, there's so few people in my life where I can just genuinely be fully myself. And it's not that it's the person's fault, it's more I really struggle to open myself up fully and just like share what's going on in my life, or like be silly and whatever. And I think part of it is like, you have to like really know that that person is going to be there and like not have any judgment towards the things that you say or the actions that you do, like whether you're being silly or frustrated or whatever. And I think finding those safe spaces in people can be difficult, but when you do find them, it's like, okay, like it's just like the best feeling. So anyway, I'm going to start this along with the End of Loneliness and hopefully get into it a little bit more today.
I got 3 books at the library, so I'm going to give you guys a little book haul. Now, I do own all of these books, but as I said in the library, or at least I think I did, I like to get books in the library that have been sitting on my shelf for quite some time that I haven't actually read, because it makes me read them, because the library doesn't have like a due date. Like, you don't have to pay library fees anymore. I think most libraries got rid of those like a few years ago, but it still does have like a little date on this little checkout receipt that it like encourages you to return it by, and it says date due on the 20th. So I'm gonna try to finish these 3 books before that date. Now, will I finish them all? I don't know, but there's so many books on my shelf that I feel like I'll get excited about, and then I will end up leaving them there and not actually getting back to them, and they'll just like, I don't know, fall into this like book abyss where I just don't get excited to read them until I like see a review someone's left, or you know, a movie comes out about it, and then I feel like sometimes it's too late. So by too late, not too late to read the book, but it's like it's past the prime of when like the excitement is still there for the book. And so that's usually when I end up buying the book, or like right after the excitement is like, you know, top of mind. So I ended up picking up Honey. This is the first book that I want to share. Really excited for this one because it's been on my list to read for a while, and I've actually been finding that contemporary fiction books are the perfect balance for me to read in between romances. I feel like in the past I would read like romance until I felt almost burnt out of romance, and then I'm like, okay, I need a break. I don't want to get to that point this year. I don't want to ever feel like I'm burnt out on anything. I just kind of want to add in contemporary fiction as I'm reading other romances, and I think that that's going to help me to like not get to the point where I'm like, okay, I need something else other than romance. Like, I don't want to get there. So as you guys saw, I, read a contemporary fiction. I read Finding Grace, and then I also read The Last Man on Earth, which was like a survival romance, and I also read After, which was more of like a cutesy romance. So I've read like a cutesy romance, I've read kind of like a thriller type vibe romance, and then I read a contemporary fiction. Now I'm adding in hopefully another contemporary fiction, because most of these are. And then I'm also going to read that like heartfelt and deep romance that I mentioned to you guys, Adana, in the little like chat this morning. I am reading The End of Loneliness right now, guys. I've never DNF'd a book, but this is the thing, okay? This is the problem. This is why I can't DNF books, honestly, because I will get a few pages in and be like, I don't think I like it. Like, it happens all the time. And I'm about I'm about 50 pages into this. That is not nearly enough time to figure out if a book is good or not. Like, it genuinely is not. But in my head, I'm like, I don't like this book. Like, everyone's raving about it. It's not for me. And part of that, I think, is because I had such high expectations for this one. And I also had high expectations for Finding Grace. But Finding Grace, I feel like, met those expectations. This is just like, I don't know. It's just not doing it for me. So again, I'm only 50 pages in, but this is why I literally do not DNF books, because there is always the opportunity for a book to change my mind, whether it's like the last 20 pages, last 50 pages. Now, is it gonna be a 5-star read for me? Maybe not. Like I feel like I usually know if I'm gonna be obsessed with a book by 50 pages, but is it gonna be a book I recommend or a book that I actually enjoy? It definitely could be. And so that's why I don't DNF books, but also I feel like if I did DNF books, I would probably DNF them like halfway through. But it's like, if I'm halfway through, I might as well just finish. So that's 2 more hours of reading, basically, because the average book, what is this? 256 pages. I read 60 pages an hour. And if I get halfway through the book, I'm at what, like 100 and like less than 150 pages. And, you know, reading for 2 hours, that's gonna be 120 pages for me. So like, if I'm halfway through, I dang near better just like read for 2 hours and be done. So I don't know, I don't know if I'll ever be a person that DNFs, but you know, everyone has their reasons for why they do or don't DNF. That is my reason as to why I don't. And I also picked up Queenie, which is a book that I think was turned into a movie or a TV show. Speaking of movie or TV show, I cannot wait. Absolutely cannot wait to watch People We Meet on Vacation, and I cannot wait to watch Savvy Sheldon, I think it's called Feels Good as Hell. That is, actually it's a movie. Maybe I'll watch that tonight actually, now that I think about it. I could definitely watch that tonight or maybe tomorrow. But I just like really want to watch that because it was a book, but part of me wants to read the book first. And then People We Meet on Vacation, I already read the book, actually did not like it. That was the only book I think of Emily Henry's that I just didn't really like. And I am excited for the movie because I do think that the movie is going to be better than the actual book. But I picked this up because she is supposed to be somewhat of an unlikable main character, and she's also supposed to be someone who I feel like a lot of people just like don't really like in the book, and she's like unbelievable a bit, like not a really reliable narrator. I love those types of characters. Absolutely eat them up because they just feel so real and human to me. So excited for this one. And then I also picked up Junie, which this is a historical fiction. I didn't really read a ton of historical fiction last year, but I think the ones that I did hit hard. So I want to read more this year, but not too much. Not too much where I feel like it almost is like homework, you know, like I read The Rose Code end of last year and it was like good information, and I feel like it made me realize there's so much more to learn just about our history in general, but also I want to keep books fun, and I do think that historical fiction can be fun depending on the book you find, but then sometimes the content itself is really like it's very good information, but sometimes the content isn't fun. So I want to find the books that feel fun or that feel like, I don't know, just an enjoyable read, like, and I'm like excited to learn the history. And even if it's like heart-wrenching or like hard to read, I just don't like the books that feel wordy, where it's like, you could have said that in 2 sentences, you know what I mean? So I want to have more of the like quicker paced reads, and I feel like I'll be able to find that. I've heard a lot of good things about this one, so I feel like this one is a good place to start. I have read so many books this week, it's actually wild, but I think it's been really easy to read so many books because I had already started this one and I had already started After by Jada West, and honestly I think the hardest part of getting into a book is starting it. I'm about 250 pages into this book, and guys, it is so cute. There's actually a point, so this is kind of like a slow burn romance. If you're not someone who likes slow burns, you probably won't like this one, but I eat up a slow burn, especially when there's tension. And the guy in this book, he's a type who like doesn't really enjoy talking to anyone. He keeps to himself, except when it comes to Nardi. And this part of the book is on page 176, and it's really sweet because honestly, I think I just like books where guys will take care of girls who are very independent, who like don't want to be taken care of in a way because they're like, I can do it on my own. And they're like, you know what? I know you can do it on your own, but I'm going to help you because you deserve that. And on 176, he goes, I want you to stop being so dang stubborn and let me take care of you. And because he goes, or she goes, what, hold on, I think this is her chapter. Yeah, she goes, what do you want from me? Just say it. He goes, I want you to stop being so dang stubborn and let me take care of you. And then he goes, if you haven't noticed, she goes, if you haven't noticed, I don't need or want to be taken care of. And she talks about how she's built this life on her own. She's been successful on her own.
she pulled herself up from the bottom by working hard. She's come so far that she could even turn around and pull her brother with her and like help him. And he goes, that's great. That's really great, Nardi. I admire you for it. But being so good at struggling alone isn't the win you think it is. I know because I've been there. Heck, I'm still there. But look at you. It doesn't say heck, but you guys know I don't curse. But just letting you know, because I feel like that does change a little bit of the story. But looking at you makes me realize how ridiculous I was. At some point, we have to admit to needing a hand. And then on the bottom of 177, he goes, I think it's on the bottom. Let me see if I can find it. Was it on the bottom or the top of 177? So she's like irritated. She's like trying to like, you know, basically push him away because he's like, I just want to take care of you. And then he's like, where's the food you want warmed up? Is it in the fridge? Because he's like, I'm going to get your food for you. I'm going to warm it up. Like, I'm taking care of you. And because at this point, she really does need to be taken care of. And then she goes, why do you want to know? He's like, you obviously don't want takeout, so direct me from here. Which one of these dishes? And he's like looking at the condiments in the kitchen. And it says, my heart jackhammers against my ribs. Why isn't he playing this game right? We're supposed to shout at each other, and then he's supposed to angrily storm out. He isn't supposed to stay. He isn't supposed to keep looking out for me. And it says, how can I win this when he's changing the rules without my permission? Because in the past, she was used to having someone who would like yell at her, or like get angry, or just be the worst. And he is so steady and so concrete. He's like, I'm taking care of you whether you like it or not. It's not really a choice. It's not really an option. I want you to be taken care of, and you deserve to be taken care of, so it's happening. And I love that so much in the book. And that is, I feel, how this book has been from start to like the middle. Obviously, I think I'm gonna end up finishing the rest of this book later today, probably, just because I've been sitting down and reading in like hour increments pretty much. And I also got through about 29 pages in the marriage narrative. This is cute so far. I wanted to start this one because I actually left a poll on Instagram and asked people which book I should start. And everyone said that I should start the book, Take a Shot on Me. Well, not everyone, but like a large part of the poll. And guys, one thing about me is anytime I leave a poll, I immediately realize the book I actually wanted to read, and it's usually not the book that people chose. So I am reading this book, but I will say everyone did choose for me to read Take a Shot on Me. So I probably will read that next, not in this vlog, but at some point. But yeah, I am gonna go work out my hair. I haven't really like picked it out or anything yet. I did a little bit just like in the middle. But I've been actually like wearing my hair like this to workouts, and it's been really nice because like, you know, curly hair, it's like very versatile. So like if it's rainy, if it's hot, like it's just gonna probably grow a little bit. And in the past, I used to wear a hat to the gym, and I would wear like my twists underneath it. And then after I would get done working out, I would like take my twists out. But the problem would be that like obviously your hair sweats, right? And so I would just like have kind of damp hair, just like minimally damp, not super damp or anything. But you know how damp goes with curly hair. It's like, you try to take out the braids and it just looks like it's like limp, like there's no body or anything. So whenever I work out with my afro out, it actually looks even bigger and like more vibrant and stuff. And so I've just been doing that the last couple months, and it's actually been really, really great for like my workouts and for how my hair looks and stuff. And it's also nice because I can leave straight from my workout to go and do something versus feeling like I need to go home, take my hat off, take my braids down and all of that. It's just like was too much of a process. And I feel like I see a lot of TikToks where people will say like, my natural hair is so hard, like I, you know, can't do it, da da da. And honestly, I used to feel this way and now I don't. And honestly, I feel like the biggest reason I don't feel this way is because of protective styles. You guys see that for the majority of my week, I keep my hair in a bun, or I'll keep it in like a half up, half down style. And I think that is like what keeps my hair from feeling like it's too much, because I'm not doing it every day. Like I'll just kind of keep it in that same shape underneath my bonnet at night, and then in the morning I'll take it out and then, or take off the bonnet and then just like put the bun back in. Don't touch it, don't really do too much. I usually like brush the front, but I don't really put on like edge control or anything because I'm not trying to lose my edges. And so I'll usually put like a deep conditioner over my whole head, and I'll wear like a what's it called? like a satin scarf to keep down my edges while I'm sleeping underneath my bonnet. And I don't know, it just like works really well. But again, in the past when I used to like relax my hair, straighten my hair, I would be like, oh, it's like, you know, so much easier to do this instead. But it's like, really, I'm straightening my hair dang near every day. If I'm not straightening it, I'm like doing something to it to make it like last the way that I want it. Just because I do have, you know, hair that I feel like in any style, like if I go to sleep and I have straight hair the next morning, even if I like wrap it underneath my bonnet, there's always like a little thing that's stuck up one way and I'm like, I need to like, you know, get this part down or whatever. Like there's always something I need to do. I can't just like get up and go unless I have like braids, or if I have a protective style like my bun that I do often, or like the half up half down style. So that's been really helpful for me. So now whenever I do my curls, I feel really excited to have them out. And usually I will keep the bun in during the week just because it's like life is busy. And then on the weekend, that's when I will kind of like pull the curls out, and then I will wash my hair on Sunday, or sometimes just like depending on how like my curls are looking, you know, sometimes like during the week. But another thing that also helps is like whenever I wash my hair, instead of it being a whole process, which it used to be, I used to have to, well not have to, but I used to wash my hair and then I would use my Rev Air and like kind of blow it dry and then twist it, or not use my Rev Air and just like twist it wet. And then the next day it's like a whole process because I gotta like take down the twist, whatever. Now, whenever I wash my hair, I just put it into a bun. That's all I do. I put like a bunch of conditioner on it, and it's almost like a deep conditioner in its own way because it just like soaks it all in. And then I go to sleep. That's literally it. And I'll put the satin scarf on my head and then I'll put the bonnet on my head, and it just is amazing because then the next day I just wake up and usually it's a little frizzy, but you know, because it's like I just washed it the night before, so I have to like brush it back into the bun a little bit more. But as the week that goes on, usually it'll kind of like lay on its own. So I don't know, I just think it's funny how at 33 I'm learning so much about my hair, and I've like had to learn so much about my hair over the years because my hair texture has changed over time, and I'm sure I'll continue to learn about it. Like I got a few gray hairs up here. I got a few grays. And you know, my texture is changing and all the things, but I feel like it's fun, especially now that I have a protective style that I use a lot. We got this huge package from Netflix, so let's open it. I'm pretty sure I already know what it is just because the front, it has a little like, I don't know, tape on it that kind of shows what's on the inside, but I don't know what they have in here, and I'm really excited to see what it is just because I have never received anything from Netflix, so anything like this I just always feel so grateful to get. I'm putting this up here because I did something to my tricep, which is why like when I was in the gym today, instead of doing like using the bar like I usually do, I was using one dumbbell on my left side. I don't know what I did. I'm getting ready to go to the chiropractor in like 15 minutes. But like anything that I do where I'm like, I don't know, feeling this tricep work in any way, even opening this box, it's like painful. So I don't know if something is like out of whack or what. But we're gonna open this up. Oh my God, guys. This is huge. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Throw that to the wayside. We have a huge box here. Look at this, guys. Oh my God. It's for the new show or movie that's gonna be on Netflix. I think it's actually on Netflix right now. This is wild. Look at this box. This is huge. Okay, I have to open it up, see what they put in here. Oh my goodness. I feel so grateful getting boxes like this. Or just anything in general. It's like they did not have to send this to me. How cute. Okay, I'm definitely using this bag this summer. This is so cute. It's just like a regular tote. And then on here it says, on vacation you can be anyone you want. People we meet on vacation, starring Emily Badger and Tom Blythe, based on the best-selling novel by Emily Henry, is only on Netflix. It is now on Netflix. And they put in here a little towel. They also put a, what is this?
these like headphones or something maybe? Let's see now. It has like a little people we meet on vacation thing on the front of it. Yeah, these are headphones. And then we also got a little essential set from Summer Fridays, which that's one of my favorite brands. So I'm definitely gonna be using that. They sent the People We Meet on Vacation book, and this is the edition for the movie. Oh my gosh, guys. Stuff like this just gets me so excited. And I got this everyday lotion from Supergoop. I love their sunscreen, so I feel like I'll like that too. This is cute. They also sent this little disposable camera, and it has People We Meet on Vacation on it. And then they also sent these sunglasses. Oh my god, these are Sojo's sunglasses, which is a super nice brand. I've heard great things about them. And then they also sent this little travel case from Calpac. I've never tried Calpac, but I've heard that they have great stuff. So those are all the things that they sent. I feel really grateful to have gotten that box. I'm definitely gonna watch the movie tonight because it literally came out on today. I think it came out on midnight. So I'm definitely gonna watch it for sure. What an absolute wild ride this week has been. I've read so many books, as you guys can see, and I'm actually gonna do a little wrap up on Instagram and TikTok, and I think I'm gonna do weekly wrap ups, just sharing the books that I read, because I feel like I read so many, and I do share them with you here, but I kind of want to share some in a little bit more of like real time. So I'm gonna probably share that tomorrow, but I guess this video will also go up tomorrow, so you guys will see them kind of at the same time. But I don't know, I definitely want to read what I want to read more than ever this year, and I think that that's going to lead me to having weeks like this where I'm reading tons of books. I will say that I did start 2 of these books before this video, and one of them was Time Starts With You. This is probably one of my favorite books of the entire video that we did today. But also, I really, really loved After Hours by Jada West, and I think the reason why I love this one so much is because I hadn't really heard anyone talk about it. I didn't have any real preconceived notions about it. I didn't really know what I was getting into. And it ended up just being a book that kind of felt like Brittany Cherry's writing, where it's like very fantastical. I mean, he's a literal billionaire, right? Like, it just was one of those books that I really, really, really enjoyed because it was so sweet. And he was just like a really sweet guy the whole time. And it's also funny because I did start Adana, as you guys saw in this video, but I have gotten nowhere in that book, so I'll probably finish it maybe in the next video. But it's funny because my mood will change so quickly. Like, I was like, oh, after reading this book, The Last Man on Earth, I need to have a book that's gonna be like wild, fantastical, in like a hanging on the edge of your seat type of way. Like, it's gonna need to be something that's gonna like shake me to my core. And then literally one bad thing happens in my week and I'm like, you know what? I need a cutesy read. If you guys ever see me just reading like cutesy reads, you can know for certain that I'm probably going through it, because anytime I like need to pick up a cutesy read, it's usually because I need to balance out like the wildness going on in my life. Again, it just was like a minor inconvenience, nothing like wild. But for me, I feel like books are such a solace, and that's why I'm a huge mood reader, because I read based on how I'm feeling and like what I need that I'm not getting out of my week. So this book, absolutely loved it. Felt so many emotions at the end, so many emotions in the middle, and it was like definitely a slow burn, but so good. So good. Oh my gosh. I need to read more books by Nia Arthurs. I don't know how I'm gonna rate this one yet, but by the time that this video goes up, the review should be up on Goodreads, so you guys can go check there. I just don't know. Like, it's a book I really, really loved, but maybe 4.5, that's kind of what I'm leaning toward. And then I also really loved The Last Man on Earth. I'm gonna end up rating this one 4.5 as well. I had so many great reads this week. And I feel like in one of the last videos that I did where I was on the beach, I was saying how it was probably one of my best reading weeks of 2025. And genuinely, I was just reading what I wanted to read in the moment. And I really want to do that a lot this year, because it'll end up being weeks like this. At least I think it will. So this one, another 4.5 out of 5-star read. And you guys know I'm pretty like, I wouldn't say picky, but I'm very particular about my ratings and what I read and what I share with you guys and I say that I love. This book is so good. I mean, it's spicy, it is edge of your seat, everything that you would need in a book that
is a survival romance. I also started 2 books that you guys didn't see me read really very much in this video, and one of them is Fumbled Love, which is actually a fall book, but it was only like 95 pages, so I literally finished it almost in one sitting. I read most of it at the cafe, then came home and read the rest. It was a very, very quick read. Very fun, and this has made me realize I want to read more books by this author. If you're ever trying to get into an author's writing and you're nervous to read like a full-fledged book, see if they have any novellas. It's a great way to try out their writing style to see if it's for you. This one was definitely for me. Definitely gonna rate this one 4 stars, which is surprising because it's so short, but I really did love it. And then I also read The Naughty List by Octavia Grant. This is another book that I really enjoyed as well. Honestly, all her books are unhinged. Like, you will literally be like jaw on the floor whenever you finish one of her books. They are really good thrillers, and I just wanted a little bit of a change up from what I was reading, even though I do feel like I had a good mix of like contemporary fiction and romance, survival romance. But I also want to read more of my Christmas books, and that's the thing. It's like I read a fall book and a Christmas book in this video. Both of those like eras are over. Like, they're not gonna come around for another year, but I don't wanna wait until the new year, or not the new year, but like another year almost to read these. So I think I'm just gonna read them as I feel that I want to, and just kind of go with that and see where the wind takes me. And then I also obviously read After Hours by Jada West. I think I'm gonna rate this one 4 stars. Again, it was a really, really fun read. I loved every little like sweet thing that he did for her. There was a point where I was like, maybe this is gonna be 4.5, like I don't know. But I don't know, it was just very sweet. And so I think that for me, like 4 stars fits perfectly with this one. If you like a very sweet read where the guy is just like so thoughtful, so kind, feels a little bit like unrealistic because obviously he's like a billionaire. Not that like you couldn't be with a billionaire, but you know what I mean. And then I also read The End of Loneliness. I did not like this book, and I know that is an unpopular opinion because so many people love this book. I didn't, and that's okay. I'm gonna rate this one 2 stars and leave it at that. I just don't like books where I feel like they are, like the author is just making the book sad to be sad. This reminded me of A Little Life in a way, because I also didn't really care for that book because it just felt like the author was trying to make tragedy after tragedy after tragedy happen to Jude, and obviously it's not the same character, but same type of vibe. But you don't really feel like, or I didn't really feel like the characters were full-fledged characters. I felt like they were more of the things that were happening to them than actually the characters going through the things that are happening to them. And I don't know, I just don't really like books like that. I always feel like there is some good within the world, even if you're going through something hard or you have a hard life. I feel like there's still good in it, and I think sometimes when authors are only focusing on the bad, to me, it's like a way for them to sell books. Because obviously people cry, they're like, oh my God, this is a heart-wrenching book, you should read it. But I think the books that I recommend that make me cry are books that have like the beauty of life in it, even though the hard things are happening too. It's like the characters can recognize like, okay, this sucks, but also this is the good that's like happening within that bad. Because like that's how people exist. Like that's how people want to continue to wake up and live another day, because like you see that there is still good. So I don't know, I just wasn't really a fan of this one. I do think that it did have a good representation of what it's like to grieve when you lose someone that you really care about. I feel like that desolation and depression and all those emotions were really like well thought out. So that's kind of why I gave it 2 stars, but yeah, it was not my favorite. And then I also read The Marriage Narrative, which this one was cute. Wasn't anything that was like, you know, make me do cartwheels. It was definitely a book that was like just enjoyable read. I think what I enjoyed about this was the fact that it was like a reality TV star, and she's like doing this marriage of convenience, and she's kind of type A, kind of irritating, but I also do like a character who's kind of annoying. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was cute, enjoyable. It was definitely something I would recommend, but not something that I would be like, oh my God, you have to read. I would just be like, if you're looking for a book with those type of tropes, you'll probably like this. And then I also read Finding Grace by Loretta Rothschild. This one was a messy, fun book. I still just want to wring Tom's neck. The entire time that I was reading this book, I was just like, it's one of those things where a character will say something and then it turns into this, into that, into this, into that. And it like, you're just like getting more and more irritated with them by the second, and that's how I felt in this book. But it kind of felt like I was watching a movie while I was reading the book, so I wasn't mad about it. But yeah, I had already gotten through half of this, and I already had gotten through a majority of that. So I think that that helped me to read a lot of these books. And then I read this one in basically one sitting. So I had a really great reading week this week. I do think that waking up at 5 a.m. to read will help you read more books, because as you guys can see, I only filmed like my 5 a.m. like morning chats and stuff on a few days, because again, it's like I'm literally getting up to read. I'm not getting up to be on my phone. I'm not getting up to like do anything else other than read. And that I think is why I'm able to finish so many books in a week, because instead of waking up to doom scroll or just not waking up at all, I spend a little extra time on myself, starting the day with a hobby that I enjoy and that I love, and it just like sets the day off on a right foot. But also it allows me to make sure I have time to do a hobby that I love, versus like end of the night, you know, the day's kind of gotten away from you, you're tired, you fall asleep after reading 2 pages, or you try to do it on the weekend and then you have 1,000,001 plans with friends or family or whatever, or obligations, and then, you know, a week goes by and you're like, dang, I haven't even read hardly any of my book yet. So waking up in the morning to read will definitely make you read more. And I started doing this literally because I wanted to do a challenge here on YouTube like 2 years ago, and now look where we are. It's like become just a part of my routine. So as you guys can see, I read a lot of books, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one on Tuesday. Bye, guys.